واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة. You were on the edge of the hellfire. Then Allah says, but we saved you from it so that you may be guided. And then He said, let there arise from you an ummah that calls to good and forbids evil and believes in Allah. So this is a direct command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have to be a one ummah. وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٍ. Ummatin, one ummah, not ummah, many ummas. Let there be one group arise from you that's calling to all forms of good. And this forms of good is not only for us as individuals, but as a community and as the world, as a society. We want good for our non-Muslim colleagues and neighbors to be guided or to be to benefit from the beauty of Islam, and forbidding evil. And like this, the deviations that are taking place nowadays, the corruption and immorality, fornication and homosexuality, pornography, all these horrible things that are being spread on the internet, unfortunately, that even the youth are being exposed to, corruption in the political realm, where you have lobby groups that are basically have a chokehold on our governments. This is things that Islam addresses, the injustice that's taking place, not only to Palestinians, but to minorities and to Muslim minorities or other minorities everywhere. This is Islam commands us to stand up for what is right, for the betterment of mankind. يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويؤمنون بالله. And spiritually, to call to the belief in one God. You see how atheism is on the rise throughout the world. And in Europe now, more than 50% don't follow any religion. This is, of course, the work of the Antichrist to deviate people away from the divine path, the spiritual path. So we have that as a commandment. يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويؤمنون بالله وأولئك هم المفلحون. Those will be the successful ones. And then Allah says, ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا. And don't be like those who differed. وتفرقوا, they turned into sects. واختلفوا, and they deviated from one another. This is the warning again. Don't become firq. Don't have ikhtilaf. Khilaf is something that is allowed. Khilaf is when you have difference in the fiqh views of certain issues. Ikhtilaf is when the hearts differ from one another. When the hearts, there's hatred, jealousy, backbiting, competition, So we can have differences in fiqh, in the madhahib, differences in understandings of certain issues, but it shouldn't lead to ikhtilaf, where there is like political corruption. Ibn Mas'ud, beautifully, once he was in Mina, and according to Ibn Mas'ud was asked a fatwa, do we shorten our prayer in Mina or do we make it 4 rakahs during Hajj? So Ibn Mas'ud, he said the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Bakr and Umar, they all shortened their prayers here in Mina. So that's how we should pray too. Uthman, who was the Khalifa at that time, he decided to pray 4 rakahs because he had he had a reasoning for that. So Ibn Mas'ud prayed with Uthman and he prayed 4. And the people told Ibn Mas'ud, didn't you just tell us that you're supposed to pray 2? And here you are praying 4 over here in Mina. So then Ibn Mas'ud, he said, yes, I told you that, but al-khilafu shar. He said, differencing is evil. And then in another narration, he said, al-khilafu kulluhu shar. Differing, dividing, fighting with each other, it's all evil. It's all evil. So even though he had an opinion, he gave up his opinion for the sake of uniting with the Amir, who is Uthman, and to keeping the hearts together and keeping the Jama'ah together. So this is the spirit of the Sahaba. They united for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah says,